Do you see today you have a notepad?
Sure.
Are you curious, inquisitive, like what's gonna happen? You should be.
Okay.
All right, so hello everyone. Welcome back to the Sound on Siren podcast. I am your host, Balasam.
I'm Keitu.
And yeah, I'm happy to be back. And remember, Sound on Siren is the place where we fortify ourselves from the inside out. I'm really jazzed about Vancouver and Vancouverites
Oh,
and how they went to the polls and how they
right.
voted Ken Sim out of this place. And they
I
voted
mean, not quite. That's not what we're voting for.
no.
No, the bylaws would just say elect other people because of municipal leaders who had to leave their positions. So there were two other positions that opened. So they had to go vote. Ken Sims is very much still the mayor.
Oh, so what is
Instead,
this about then? The voting for Sean Orr and Lucy Maloney.
again, it's to replace the two people who left their positions. So it's just two roles that opened up in
Oh,
the municipal government.
interesting,
So yeah, they were
interesting.
just saying like elect those people so that they can be a bother to Kensim and try to
Yeah,
stop some of the things he's trying to push or try to.
yeah.
Um, we'll see how it goes.
Okay.
We'll see how, but yeah, Kensim is very much still gonna serve his full term.
That's very annoying. That's very annoying.
Did you
Okay.
think that for real?
I didn't think it was going to happen now, but I thought that in the like they'll be doing these elections, and then in the next elections that are coming up, that's what that they would be voting for essentially. Like that they'd be voting, like they'd be basically putting people on the ticket, and then doing like a round
No,
of votes. But I guess it works very differently than I.
no. So like the elections that for like it was provincial elections last year, but also
Yeah.
it was like the mayoral stuff happened the year before that, I want to say. Um, so by-elections happen every year if and when people leave their post. So it because we have to have a certain amount of people in like provincial and then local government as well as like federal government at any given time. So like in Ontario, they just had to do some other voting to elect like an MP, but like it's just because they needed one there.
I
So this
see.
was to elect folks in local government here because
Yeah.
two people left their positions. And then in April, it's going to be the federal elections. Those are going to be for the prime minister and all that good
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah, because of the vote of no confidence being called, yada, yada, yada. But yeah, Kensim is still very much our mayor, unfortunately.
And what is his term?
I mean, he's probably still in there for another, at least this year and next year, I want to say.
Okay.
Um, yeah, ABC is
Damn.
still quite popular, so
Damn. But anyway, I still stick with it. Increase in voting, which is fantastic. I think they increased it by like 40% or something like that.
yeah, but they had a horrible turnout last time. Like horrible,
Fair,
horrible, horrible,
fair.
horrible.
I mean,
That's why Ken Sim even got elected. But anyway.
they did also do the thing where obviously they like cut polling stations in half. Cut voting stations in half. Also cut back a lot of the stuffing of it. Everybody was in like 2 hour, 3 hour long lines around the block and stuff like that. But people stuck it through. I like that. I like the being able to vote. I feel like that's one thing that I miss. And obviously I can like register for like voting internationally and while I'm abroad. Um,
It's a whole rigmarole, though.
it is a huge rigmarole, but I do miss that. I do miss being engaged in that way, and it was just really nice to see everyone like gung ho about it. Hopefully, this is the what can I say? Like the spirit of understanding the collective power and like moving things forward. Obviously, like you said, it's not as revolutionary as I thought,
No.
but let's see. Let's see what else we can do. I don't know. I'm
We'll see.
hopeful.
I have, I don't know. Some of my friends have worked in like election work and
Yeah.
political advocacy, and it's a pretty politically apathetic city. So it's interesting that they showed out this time, but I'll have to see um, consistent collective action
Fair.
to
I
believe
think
in like people here actually being somewhat politically inclined to vote.
fair.
They've historically like more and more like people just don't care, particularly with like local, municipal, and provincial governments. Like everybody not everybody, but people get the memo more with federal elections because I think it's just pushed a bit more. Although this year we'll see how that goes because people don't even really know that advanced voting is already open, child. Anyway.
Oh, that's fair. Damn. I mean, I guess that's why there's that organization. Maybe saying apathy is boring. I think, are they just an org or are they also trying to be like a party of sorts? I'm not quite sure what their full affiliation into the world of like politics and voting and all that kind of stuff is. But cool. All right. Well, follow us on. I was so excited. I came into this so jazzed. I was like, yeah. And then you're just
Sorry
like,
to disappoint.
you're just like, no, monitor your expectations. Nothing's really changed. All right, cool.
Yeah, and to that, just to dull it a bit more.
Yeah.
Let's just wait for the results to come out.
Let's wait for the results. Yes, these are preliminary
I've had
results.
moments where I've also felt like, yeah, like Sean definitely has a chance. And then when the polls came out, he had like a couple thousand votes. But obviously, my little queer socialist circle is like, yeah, vote. And then so I'm just saying as well.
Fair. Okay.
That the people we might like to win, there's a lot of candidates that we might not have seen on our social medias.
Yeah.
That would have been popular with many, many other people. You know, like it's at the end of the day, the candidates that queer people were pushing in particular, have very, very small parties, and
they do
at that very small,
and
other candidates have the backings of NDPs and just bigger machines, liberal, and so also just if you had a candidate that you love, just manage that a little, particularly with the COPE and the socialists and the the city is not very kind to that. So
all right,
well,
welcome back to the pod. Sweet, but yes, follow us on Instagram and on TikTok. It's on Siren Pod or podcast. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. I hope you're enjoying the pod. Keitu's been getting a lot of feedback about the pod, which is really sweet. But yeah, so we'll just jump right into, I think we'll like maybe mix it up a little this time. So we'll do Siren Sounds first. Actually, can you hand me the laptop? Okay, so we're going to play Siren Sounds first. We're going to do the game. Siren Sounds is where we break into songs or to music in all different types of ways. Today I'm going to be challenging Keitu to name as many songs as you know in a minute from a particular artist.
Okay.
So you have two ways to do this. You can I can set a timer and you can just name them, or you can write them down. It's up to you. That's why I gave you a pad.
Okay.
So you can write them down. So you figure out which medium is best for you.
Okay.
In 60 seconds, name as many songs by Lauryn Hill.
Okay. Ooh, my days. My gosh. Why am I blanking?
You got this.
It's like there's so many songs, but my brain is not thinking of a handful.
Okay, time's up. Okay, cool.
This is not a lot.
Okay.
This is not a lot. And I promise I know all the Lauryn Hill songs. It's just listing is hard.
Okay, yeah. Okay, cool, go.
I've got Freedom Time. I'm just going to name the albums first from the
Freedom Time?
Unplugged album. So Freedom Time, Adam Lives in Theory, Just Like the Water, Rebel. So those are the ones I remember from there.
Okay.
And then from Miseducation, X Factor, Nothing Even Matters, Zion, Forgive Them. That's kind of where I stopped.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's obviously a lot.
Yeah.
Killing Me Softly. I mean, it also depends if the Fugees. Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. No, that's good to not include the Fugees. Yeah. I Used to Love Him, Tell Him. Yeah. Cool. Okay. I was like, is 60 seconds too long? But no. I think it's a proper amount, yeah?
Yeah.
Proper length of time.
The thing is the remembering, never mind the time.
I want to do this one because this is your mom's end. Can you name, in 60 seconds, how many of Letambulu's songs can you name?
Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
Go. This should be good for Keitu. Keitu's mom loves Letambulu. I think it even has a record.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, of hers. So
why am I blanking? Again, this is a discography I'm very familiar with, but the coming of the songs to my name, the name of the wow.
3, 2, 1.
I was hard.
Beep. Was it?
Yeah, I mean, trying to remember song titles off the top of my head is just difficult.
Okay, fair. All right, so let's go. This one you might have to give me time to confirm because I'm not as familiar, but
Yeah.
I have the list here.
Yeah, okay. There's Music in the Air, Music Man,
Yeah.
Marupula, Normalizo. There's
Normalize.
Triste, it's like on her.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Portuguese song. This one is actually a song with Hugh Masekela. My last one that I have is called Makongo. It's on Hugh Masekela's album, but like.
Yeah, it's in here though.
Yeah.
It's in here. 1970. Okay, not bad. Less songs than Lauryn Hill songs, but not bad. Okay, you ready to do one more?
Let's do it.
Okay, choose. Do you want to do American or do you want to do South African? American. Okay.
This is not me saying I'm not confident.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Okay. No. Let's try one more. I want to try one more, but also not be obvious. Obviously,
Okay.
like choosing a Beyonce or Rihanna, whatever. I feel like those are very obvious. Ooh, how many SZA? Do you know SZA?
Yeah.
Okay. How many SZA songs can you list? Start. SZA. Is it SZA? SZA.
Yeah.
Right. That one.
Oh my Jesus, my brain. Oh my God.
3, 2, 1. Time is up.
Okay. Again, not a lot, but
All right. But you promised that you know them.
I do know some.
You do know quite a lot. You listen to SZA
Yeah,
more than I do, so you definitely do better than me. Okay, I'm ready.
Normal Girl.
Yeah.
Normal Girl, Drew Barrymore, 20-something, Love Galore, Weekend, Go Gina, SOS, Hit Different. That's what I had.
Yeah.
There's
Good
more
days.
in there.
Good days in my mind. Need to
Oh my
get
God, I
this
was
back
obsessed
up.
with that song in 2022. That's when she was releasing Lucy's. We were like, give us an album, Smim. She was busy like, nah, I'll give you a Lucy. Before we got SOS.
All right. Cool. Give it up for Keitu.
Thank you.
So what is that? That was 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. This is one, right? 14,
This is SZA,
15. Is this one as well?
Yeah, so
Okay.
this is all SZA.
16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Cool. You got 21 songs. That's amazing. Boop, 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 boop. All right. Fantastic. So when you pulled up into this room of our house, you said that you were not feeling handies. What's popping? How you doing? Let's check in. But also I want to check in on your first quarter because now we're in April. How's your first quarter of your year? How will you rate the first quarter of your year?
Out of what, like 5?
Out of 10, no? We'll still
10.
do 10, yeah. Give you a bit of room.
Yeah, I'll rate it like a 5.
Okay. So if it was out of 5, would you have rated it a 5?
I would have given it a 2.
A 2. Fair.
2.5, I guess.
Yeah.
Nothing particularly horrible. Nothing particularly great. High highs, low lows.
Fair.
So it falls right down the middle. Yeah. This year is just very, very strange, I feel like. So, yeah, I don't particularly have high hopes of it being an exceptionally great year.
Really?
No, not in particular.
Fair.
No, the vibes are not necessarily set for that, which I think is okay.
Yeah.
Not everything has to be woo, woo, woo.
And also, if it's not, it also doesn't have to be like woo 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 on the other side, like absolutely
Exactly,
disastrous.
exactly. I think it's okay if this is just a year with lots of moving pieces, lots of admin and enjoyment where possible,
Yeah.
but it's hard. Like the state of the world just gets worse and worse. Cost of living gets worse and worse. And as I do more personal work, it unravels things a bit more, which is
Yeah.
worse and worse. So, the things are getting worse. So how can I feel like, wow, this is great? I also honestly do feel like it would be strange to be like, I'm having a great year with the current state of things, honestly. No tea, no shade. Like I know people, they've had babies or all these things. Like it's
Yeah.
totally okay for your year, for your personal life to be in a season of abundance, let's say. But the world is not reflecting a good time, and I feel like I'm not exempt from that.
Yeah.
And yeah, and still in my feel like I need 6 months off of my life. Still been there for a couple years.
Yeah.
So I do genuinely feel that some of these things, until I get a long break, I'll just kind of always be like,
Fair.
it's not a great time. So yeah, that's
Fair.
my quarter. Don't really have. I'm not very chatty today, so
That's
not a
fine.
great day to ask me for chatty for like a long answer.
It's okay.
Um,
It can be a
so,
short, sweet episode.
so yeah,
Cool.
how's yours?
5. Okay. Um, Definitely topsy turvy. We had a passing in the family, so that's always strange for me because I'm so far away.
Yeah.
But also, it's like, the last time that other people have seen somebody for your last time was much longer. So that also feels really weird, almost like I don't know, like oh yeah, I'm gonna grieve now, but then also like I'm not grieving this last week person. I'm grieving like when was the last time I saw my aunt?
I was
Like
gonna say, when was the last
years
time you got
ago.
to bury someone at home? Like since
I
you
think
moved
my
here, have you
aunt.
ever been able to go to
No,
a funeral?
no,
Damn.
I've never been able to go to a funeral.
And
No,
when you're home, there's never been funerals.
no.
Wow, okay, that's great.
Yeah,
I'm like a curse.
yeah.
Every time I'm home, there's a family funeral.
But at least there's that. I don't know. I don't know. I think obviously there's pros and cons on either side, but yeah, it just feels very interesting to also grieve so far. But yeah, now that I think about it, no, yeah, the last person that I would have buried or been there for the burial is my aunt, my mom's side, who passed like I think when I just moved here or something like that, they were settling her estate, selling the house and divvying up and
Okay. So it would have
thinking
been
the
like
will.
a couple months before you moved.
Yeah, or something like that. If not, just like in that year or something.
Yeah.
But again, time. What is time?
True.
What is time? So yeah, I mean, I think I would rate it my first quarter. I'd say a solid 7. I feel like 7 because somehow I'm still optimistic. And I think 7 because now I feel like I'm picking up energy, but I think like sometimes it's so bizarre for me to be like, oh yeah, now I'm feeling energized, but I always have energy. And like to the other person objectively looking at me, they're like, but you're always on the go. Like you're just go, 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 doing this thing here, doing this thing here. But there's just I don't know, there's like a internal, the gears are now shifting. And I don't know, maybe that doesn't really mean anything, but I'd say a solid 7. I'd say a solid 7.
Why would you say it doesn't really mean anything? I'd say that.
No, not that it doesn't mean anything. Sorry, that it doesn't. Maybe that doesn't make sense.
No,
Maybe
it
that
does.
doesn't make sense. Okay.
At least to me, it does.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. The first 4 months of the year has just been really, really weird. 3 months
3
of the year,
months,
my
yeah.
goodness, has just been really, really weird. It's like I've been on such sharp ups, and sharp downs. But I think I also under I underplay my own downs, and I'm just like, we're down, but we're not that down, you know? Like, you're not down. Like, this is not down, down. People can be downer. You know, there's a more downer that you've also been. So you're not down, down. So don't be down. But like, you're down.
I mean, there's probably some part of you that also just doesn't want to be down. So you kind of just like, if you
True.
are down, have to underplay it because you're like, I'm not particularly keen on being in the space.
No.
Whereas if you're somebody like I've had depression for a long time, my baseline is pretty down.
Yeah.
That I don't really I lost the feeling of like I don't really want to be down because it's not really like a choice thing. And so yeah, this is me saying I get that being like if you want to play it down because yeah, it's difficult even for folks who are used to being down. It's difficult to reconcile that you're either always down or when you're not always down that you are down.
Yeah.
It's not a fun place to be.
No, and it feels very confusing for me because I feel like I'm doing this, you know, like stop starting. It feels so, I don't know, very, very weird. It's like I'm negotiating my energy, you know, all the time, just like negotiating. I'm like, yeah, I can put it here. But the moment I start putting it here, I'm also like, oh, this is why I feel like I had so much energy because I didn't do this thing.
Fair enough.
And I'm like, oh, you know, I think some people, I saw a TikTok the other day, and they were like, when I've just treated myself, and I was like, ooh, I got extra money, ooh, I'm gonna treat myself, and then as I'm eating what I'm eating, or as I'm looking at what I just bought myself, I realized that I didn't pay my this bill, or I didn't do this thing, and you're just like, I feel like that's how I feel about my energy. This first quarter has been very much that, like, a negotiation of my energy in particular, which, yeah, I don't know, feels like something. I don't know.
Also, I will say this quarter, January, she took 70 million years. February, she was about 22 minutes. And then March, she was maybe like a year and a half. Like the pace with which the months went, I think, was also disorienting for me. And April is starting off very rocky, but I guess there's hope yet.
It's starting very hot.
It's starting very unexpected bills for me. It's starting very unexpected. Monies have to go. Very unexpected. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Mid-month. So that means I'm treating myself mid-month. Like,
treat yourself.
If I'm going to struggle for the next little bit, I'm going to just mid-month get me some nice things, I suppose. But
do it.
I do also have to.
And you're good with that.
Purchase a big thing. Yeah, I like to
You're
give
good with that.
a thing. Yeah.
You're good with giving yourself things. I like that about you. You're good with that. Okay. So yeah, so 7 and a 5.
Yeah.
Not too bad. Not too shabby. It's all right.
It is what it is. I'm not ascribing a value to it. Whatever.
It is what it is. Yeah. All right. Let's hope we don't hear this.
Nah, we shouldn't be able to hear it.
This buzzing sound.
Also, okay. Like, your MacBook Pro is not that old. Why is she?
Oh, she's always done this. But I also, it's my photos and my videos that take up so much space on my laptop. Computer, yeah. But I've already taken off so many.
To your hard drive?
To my hard drive, which also is...
Is it an Apple hard drive?
No. It's making a crazy ass sound. And I Googled if your thing makes a sound like this. It's like, maybe it's breaking down.
Yeah, I was going to say also
could be breaking down.
Apple is horrible because it's most compatible with Apple products.
It's very annoying.
Especially with hard drives and stuff like that.
But I feel like an Apple hard drive is going to be expensive.
It is, but yeah, like I know quite a few people who've had problems with hard drives that are not Apple, using them on Apple computers. Yeah, guys. Maybe it's time to consider going back to the HPs of the world.
Maybe, because it also doesn't always, like, it doesn't always, the formatting, that's the compatibility, right? The formatting doesn't always allow, you to send all of your documents. So there are some that you either just keep on your phone or you just sacrifice.
Yeah, or they just want you to use their cloud. Like, they want you to pay for Apple things.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot. All right. We'll move into this next segment. Boom, boom, boom. And this is the chatterbox segment. I don't know how you'll be feeling about this, but I thought it would be really cute to share an embarrassing story, if you have one in uni or in high school, that you'd want to share with us. I have one that I'm going to share. Okay. I don't know if I've shared it with you before. Maybe I've just shared it with people before, but...
Okay, you go.
What is sick?
You go. We'll see. I don't... Let me be quiet. You go.
What were you going to say?
It's fine. It's okay.
You said you don't want to say it.
No, it's
Other people going to be watching.
No, I was going to say I don't want to sound like a dickhead, but like... Even if I felt embarrassed, I don't really think I have embarrassing stories. Like, I'm not, like, me feeling embarrassed, I don't think the situation is particularly embarrassing.
Fair.
And if there's some stories where I was embarrassed, but it's like a shit story, like people were being horrible, which is not like,
no,
I think like an embarrassing, funny story.
No,
I don't really have embarrassing stories. I've always been cool.
Oh, okay, come on. Aura points on 1,000.
And then we'll watch my friends be like, you're lying. You're lying.
Like, literally got embarrassed the other day.
You need to tell me the stories. Cause
really? You don't have one? Okay, let's see if you can
not one that's like funny, haha. Like, I think, not really, no.
Okay. Well,
with the exception of, like, I guess...
It doesn't have to be funny, haha, because my second question to this, or my follow-up question would be, what was the lasting impact of that moment to you? Okay. So maybe it doesn't have to be funny, haha, and maybe you don't have to tell the story necessarily, but like if you feel like there was a point when you had experienced embarrassment, even if you were cool all your life, that kind of had a shifting impact or a lasting impact on you in one way or another. Or maybe it just hasn't because you're just a cool kid and everything is just vibes. Okay, well, I have an embarrassing story, most certainly. As some of us who were not cool, definitely not in high school. I was not cool in high school. Okay, so I think I was in grade 9. Maybe I was in grade 9, maybe I was in grade 10. Maybe I was in grade 9. What does that mean for people that don't do grades? I was like 14, 15?
No, 15.
15?
Yeah, 14, 15.
14, 15,
yeah. If you finish
I finished 16, 17, yeah.
You finished high school at 17?
At 17, yeah. Because my thing is early.
13, 14. Ghana, your birthday is before June.
Yeah.
Ghana. Yeah, you might have been 14, probably at most.
Okay, so when I was 14, in grade whatever I was in, I was obviously in basketball team, you know. It was just really cute. And there was this guy, he was one of the prefects. His name is Manny. And Manny was just so hot. He was in grade 11 or matric, one of the two.
Okay.
Yeah. So like almost on his way out of school. So good looking, so handsome. Would tell my friends about my feeling towards Manny. Would tell the girls in the basketball team about my feelings towards Manny.
Had you ever spoken to Manny?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because we were all in basketball, so we would like train together. We chat. It wasn't like a estranged, far away crush. I wasn't doing like, what's that guy Jeff from You?
Okay.
It wasn't like that. No, it was like like we had been interacting, but obviously he would interact more with people that are in his grade or whatever the case is, the popular girls, you know, obviously. But he knew who I was. Anyway, so, you know, the crush is growing. And then I'm like, okay, I muster up the courage and I write him a love letter.
Oh my God, you told me this story.
I have told you the story. Okay, so I wrote him a love letter. And I poured my heart and soul in it. I said, come on, I'm going to be that person. I'm going to be brave. I'm going to be courageous. Fine, it's not me going and talking to him face to face, but I'll drop this letter in his pocket and this will be the do. You know what I'm saying? Cool.
And when you say heart and soul, you really mean heart and soul.
I put my heart and soul in it. And so it was like lunchtime in a huge courtyard or like just a huge space where we'd all hang out under this like big oak tree. It was really, really beautiful. But anyway, I dropped the letter in his blazer pocket, and somehow he got to his blazer pocket as I was walking down the courtyard. Then he proceeded to read my letter out loud, shushing the crowd, calling at me, and then reading my letter line for line. That song, killing me softly. He was killing me softly because that was mad. Okay, so not only that, not only did he just read it out loud, every single line dagger to my heart, because he was smirking and laughing, almost like, can you ever imagine, how dare you, it's like, okay, fantastic, cool. And then he finished the letter and everybody just burst out laughing and pointing and laughing and pointing. And I just walked myself to the girls' bathroom and I sat in the bathroom stall for the rest of lunch and I cried my eyes out. Yeah. And I bawled my eyes out. And then I was like, well, then, this is very embarrassing.
Yeah.
And it probably stayed current affairs for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, the stares, the looks, the glares, the snickers. Cool.
Kids can be cruel.
Very, very
Kids
cruel.
can be so
Very,
cruel.
very. And I don't understand why he didn't just like not read it if he didn't want to, or like he's like, no, I'm gonna make this a public thing, knowing that I dropped it in your pocket.
Let's try and see why that might have been the case. I can think of a couple of reasons why he might have done that.
For clout.
Sure. So like, number one, he's a dickhead. Like,
He's an absolute dickhead.
like that. Whether it was you or whoever else, he would have enjoyed the humiliation ritual. You know, that's like one theory you can take. Another one, he might have just thought it was funny because, again, you had no business having a crush on a grade 12 when you're in grade 9.
Fair.
No tea, no shade.
Fair.
So I think that's also a possibility where some of it might have been like, this is so funny because, like, in what world?
Fair.
You know? Which, again, still contributes to a humiliation ritual, which, again, is just still dickhead behavior. Ultimately, I do think you have to be an asshole to kind of do that, especially doing it to a young person, I would say. And if you didn't like me that way, you also didn't have to humiliate me to deliver that message. So yeah, it all, at the end of the day, man, he's still a dickhead. But there's probably a few things that contributed to that as well, like him being much older, the social dynamics at school, things like that. Like, I would like to think that he might feel horrible about it all these years later.
I doubt he even
If he
remembers
thinks
it.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I doubt he remembers it. But this is why I asked this question, because what was the lasting impact of this moment? Just like the fact that I still remember it and I remember it so vividly is mental. I'm literally, every time I think about this story, which is not very seldom, but I'm literally in the courtyard. Like, you know how in movies and stuff, they'll be going back to the scene, but they'll be next to the person. That's how I feel. But I think I'm trying to remember. I think I had some like school boyfriends after that.
Okay.
Outside of just being absolutely embarrassed for a while, I think it affected the way that I approached telling people about my feelings.
Okay.
Yeah, and like sharing those feelings with the people that I feel the feelings for. It's just like, I don't be trusting doing that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but I think that only lasted like maybe the rest of uni. I mean,
High school?
maybe the rest of high school.
That's
Yeah.
still all of high school because this happened in grade 9.
That is literally all of high school. Yeah. That is all of high school. Yeah, because I can remember, was that the same year that I had my first boyfriend and we went to that Catholic camp? Probably.
Okay.
So I recovered.
So you were still able to jolla and do
Yeah,
all those
I was
things,
still able to jolla and stuff, but like, yeah. Very interesting. Very diabolical of you, Manny. Very diabolical of you. Okay? Don't do that to people. Madness. Anyway, for you, any things, any stories, any
Well, I
lasting
guess
impacts?
since the story you told had somebody was a dickhead, I'll tell the one story that I feel like the guy was just an asshole.
Okay.
Um, it was, I think maybe I was grade 10 or 11, one of those. And there was this boy, he was younger than me. Child, don't even get me started on that.
Okay.
Um, he had been, let's call him a local menace to the, he didn't go to my school. We knew each other because of the scholarship we were on.
Okay.
So he wasn't in my cohort, but it was in the cohort below me. And I don't even know who's watching this, but like if some of my there's two specific friends I'm thinking of in particular, if they watch this, like gag, because I don't think I ever told one of them. But anyway,
Okay. Welcome to the
he
truth.
like dated one of my friends.
Okay.
And he was just one of those pretty boys. You know, the cheese boys were pretty boys.
Yeah.
And then you give them if they just get a taste that, oh, girls kind of like me, and then they just get weird.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit of that, where he'd done the most with my friend, and it was a very tumultuous relationship they had. And I think they had their on and off thing for like a few years.
Yeah.
He really terrorized that girl. She's a lesbian, by the way. We're all dykes. Just how we were all kidding. We're all gay. I think that's very funny. She's a lesbian. So this is all from a time when we were like trying to be. I think we were all just trying. There's a thing in high school that happens. If you're the type of queer person who's kind of never felt pressure to be kind of like straight or whatever, or also if you're just like somebody who's bisexual or whatever.
Yeah.
I think you still kind of had some of the more growing pains of like folks who date men, you know what I mean? So this is all to say there was a house party. The only reason he was invited because it was a house party one of my school people.
Yeah.
Because he had his little friend.
Okay.
Who had the same scholarship as him.
Not his little friend.
His little friend brought him along. So he comes with his friend. So now he comes to our parties and he's seeing how we live on the other side. I'm saying how we live. I don't live like my brother, like the people I went to school with. But their parties were nice. They're these rich kids. They lived in like a nice estate. So you go to this party. It's in a really, really cool neighborhood. I can't remember who was hosting this party. There came a time in high school when it just kind of became consistent that there was at least one party a month. And depending on whether you knew the person or not, it was a whole thing. It was a whole thing even with invitations because people would make Facebook like event pages.
Oh.
And then it was like, oh, are you going to this thing? And it was like, I didn't
get the invitation.
Yeah. Oh, high school was so petty, honestly. So this was one of the bigger ones where like I think a lot of people got to go.
Yeah.
And yeah, because he was there, I think a couple of us were like, oh, that's fun. You don't really come to our party. So we like hung out, kikiing, whatever, making jokes. Fine. And then obviously there's some drinking involved. And then we go outside.
Yeah.
Just the two of us, because I don't know why we're going. We're just going outside. And then we take a little walk around. And then we kissed. Which is whatever. It wasn't a good kiss.
Yeah.
I think I'm a good kisser. He wasn't.
Okay. And it's hard to be a good kisser and to kiss somebody who's not a good kisser. Although you can make the kiss good, you don't always want to be the maker of the good kiss.
But it's also when you're 16, whatever, it feels like it's much easier now to be like, hey, like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Or like, let's do this.
Yeah.
But when you're at that age, it's not. And I was not somebody who, like, I never dated in high school. I didn't really kiss a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even the kind of scenario where it felt like I could say, hey, you're not like
good at this.
Stop doing that with your tongue. Or like, don't do that. Stop trying to vacuum my mouth. Like, boys just do weird stuff. They just do weird stuff, honestly. Because that happened.
Wait,
even
what is
even when I was like
vacuuming the
21,
mouth?
I was like getting kissed and I was like, why are you doing that?
What
You're
is
too
vacuuming
grown
the
for this.
mouth?
It's when they're like your lips, they're trying to like pull your lips.
Top and bottom?
Bottom or top, they isolate a lip and they try to like pull it like a vacuum. Like, it's so bizarre, but there are people who know what I'm talking about and people who do what that nonsense. So anyway, he was doing a little bit of that. It's disappointing because he had nice lips, and I feel like sometimes when you have nice lips, it is your obligation to be
a good kisser.
Like, what's the point of having like nice full lips and then you can't even do? I think that even allows you to have like such beautiful chaste kisses, but obviously teenagers just want to shove each other's tongues in each other's mouths.
No, absolutely.
So we kissed. At this point, I'm like, I don't really like this boy in the sense of everything I'm doing around him, I'm putting on a show. You know, just to make myself feel like I can like boys like this, or I can even get a boy. There's lots of low self-esteem happening at this time in my life. Anyway, that happens, and then it's whatever. The party goes on, woo, woo, woo. And then a few days later, I'm having dinner at school at the boarding house, and then I'm with his friend now, just his friend, because again, we're now at school, he's not there.
Yeah, his little friend.
His little friend. And then turns out that night, I think he kissed like multiple people.
Oh. This is the friend telling you.
This is the friend telling me. Said we're debriefing the party now.
Yeah,
A few days later, we're sitting outside.
And he probably doesn't know that you kissed him. Oh.
He said he kissed so, and he didn't say my name. And I was like, oh, is it? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, right. But I kissed him, but he was like, no. And then proceeded to do the thing where it's like, oh, let's just call him. And then called him, and then it was like, pretend you're not here. And then I was just quiet. And then this boy literally was just like, no, I didn't kiss her. And I was like, no, sick. That's fun. That's really cool. Fuck all men. Just the classic extreme teenage reaction of like, well, I'm never doing that ever again.
Yeah.
And honestly, that was one of the last times I kissed a boy for like years.
Damn.
For years.
Damn.
Yeah. And I don't know where he is now. All I know is that all of the folks he was trying to terrorize, everybody living good. I don't know about him. I never did any sort of follow-up.
Fair.
Because I do, also for me, once you show your ass like that, you're kind of like, well, what's the point?
Yeah.
I think it's very funny for him to have gotten trapped in this popularity contest, because I do remember like a few years down the line when I was almost done with high school and he was still trying to be a menace to people.
Yeah.
He'd lost so much popularity.
Yeah.
Because he'd done so many shitty things to so many girls. And so your prettiness stops mattering after you've done so much fuck shit. So I wonder where he is now. I'm not going to say his name, Shem. I'm not going to say his name.
The character always shines through. No matter what the outside is, the character shines through. So you must refine your character.
Yeah, but that's so humiliating, I feel like, for boys to... Anyone who pretends like they didn't kiss you, they don't like you after they told you they like you, or they don't... Like, that shit is so nasty, and it happens so often in high school.
It's very humiliating, yeah.
It really, like, closed me off to the idea of even, like, playfully exploring things with men. I just feel like boys are nasty, and they'll do stuff and keep it a secret. I was like, but also for me, it made no sense. I was like, are you embarrassed to have
kissed me? Yeah.
And at this point, I'm thinking, what's embarrassing about me? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and then you have to start to do that mental gymnastics,
but
right?
Also, no, Tino, shit, I was better than him. Like, in a lot of ways.
No tea, no shade.
If anybody should be embarrassed, it should have been me.
Yeah.
But I guess I wasn't pretty enough or whatever enough to be one of his people on his list.
That's mad. But it just also goes to show, like, you were off the list. How many other people did he kiss?
And he lied about one of the people that he kissed. He hadn't kissed one of the people that he kissed. So now he's fabricating who he did
So
kiss.
being an absolute dickhead was just his MO.
Yeah, but he was also clearly trying to say, like, this is who I want to be associated with. This is who I don't want to be associated with. Which I think is very nasty. It's very nasty. Yeah, he never saw another one of our parties again.
Okay.
Not for any reason other than, I think just other than his friend. It's just very hard to integrate people who aren't in our school to get them into like our school parties. People are very... Yeah, people are just very... It's difficult to get into the estates that these people live anyway. And we all were kind of like, how do you get to the party? Oh, it's because you're going to sleep over at somebody else's house and you're all going as a group. And then it's hard to get somebody who only knows one person
to come into
the group. And So I think that's part of maybe why we didn't see him as much at like parties that were my school.
Yeah.
I did see him a couple other times in like other contexts because our scholarship stuff, we always did things
Yeah.
separate.
Yeah.
So I did see him in other spaces. And like I said, he continued to terrorize one of my friends, and he continued to also like talk a lot to some of the people who I was very close to.
Yeah.
So he was never really out of my periphery like that, but he truly was a special kind of dumbass.
What a dick.
Yeah. But it's honestly, I just laugh because, yeah, so many of us are just, we were always queer, but we were just performing, you know? Um, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, what I was gonna
I
say was
haven't thought
gonna be
about that in
crazy.
years. Ooh,
Yeah.
that story in so long. Wow, what a time.
Damn. Well, thanks for sharing.
Thanks.
Thanks for opening up.
Thanks. I remember you called my mom about this when it happened.
I can
And she
imagine.
was like, that's really shitty.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
That sucks. Okay. Well, I was gonna talk about another thing, but no, we'll skip that and put it in another chatterbox. We'll go to the last segment before we wrap up the episode, and that is a dilemma. We're doing upele pele, which is where I read some dilemma or something from threads that I think is cool and I'd love to share with Keitu. So I want your perspective, or this person, Anonymous Stories, wants your perspective. It reads, ladies, I'm having a dilemma. My baby daddy finally has a girlfriend that is so kind to me and our kids. She's helpful and supportive. My daughters love her. I'm a little jealous and don't want to be. She's a great girl and he's a new person with her. The best version since I've known him. Please, how do I get over this feeling? I'm feeling very conflicted.
Cool. What do you think?
She's feeling conflicted. I think it definitely hurts. It makes sense that it hurts to see somebody be somebody for someone else or be the version for someone else that you were hoping they would be for you. Absolutely. Sometimes especially if we keep people in our vicinity and proximity. So the feelings make sense. My advice is just to realize that the feelings make sense, but don't act on them. I don't think there's anything to act on. I don't think necessarily there's anything to do, but to reconcile those feelings and say, cool, yeah, he's a better version for her. He's a different person for her, but maybe she brings it out of him. Whatever, maybe their circumstances do that. It could be a conglomeration of different things. It has nothing to do with you, maybe necessarily. It's nothing about you. You don't have to internalize it and think, oh, well, was I not good enough for this? I wasn't good enough for that. Oh, he was doing this because of he was. Don't do that part. Don't do the mental gymnastics of it's your fault, it's your problem, or you were at fault and now he's chosen to change because she's better, she's whatever, she's doing it. Don't compare yourself either to her. I think circumstances are very different, but yeah, your feelings are valid. It does suck to see that, but also you don't know if it's genuine, what happens to them with them behind closed doors. You don't know maybe the extent of their relationship as well. So what you're seeing are the parts that you get to see. There's not actually the full scale of the relationship as well. And they don't have children yet. So also, I don't know, I feel like there's more to life and stuff like that. But I don't know, I'm almost inclined to ask, like, what's happening in your love life? Like, what are you doing on your side to get yourself what you want, as opposed to focusing on that, necessarily. Like, how can you get yourself the love that maybe you want as well? But yeah, those are my thoughts.
I think that's
What about
very generous.
Was it very generous?
Yeah.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah. No, that's good. Like that's good.
Okay.
I think if this is like an actual big thing, particularly like this jealousy, if you feel like it's becoming a hindrance to your ability to have like positive and good interactions, either with your baby daddy or with the girl, the new girlfriend, then go to therapy and work through that, because you gotta get over that. Like, there's a reason you're not in a relationship with this person
Yeah.
anymore. People get ready, or people get better for different reasons. Like you said, there's a whole bunch of reasons, and honestly, it doesn't even have to be that she brings it out of him, because I don't really buy into that logic.
Fair.
I really do think that some people, they just have to be willing to want to do something, and that he's ready now. He wasn't ready then.
Yeah.
There's the reason you're not in a relationship with this man. I really do think your priority should be maintaining like a really healthy, positive co-parenting relationship. And if this new girlfriend is one who fits into this dynamic really well, and the kids like this person and all this stuff, then you really need to get over your jealousy.
Yeah.
Like, there's no ifs and buts about it, because your priority should be having a healthy co-parenting relationship. If you're still hung up on, oh, but I didn't get this, he's not your partner.
Yeah.
He's not even the person who you were dating.
Yeah.
Like, so stop trying, like, don't compare him even to that person. Like, you know, it's valid.
Yeah, that's
all
fair.
those things, like, go to therapy, go to counseling, especially if they're like really intense feelings or you're still hung up on this person, then it's a different story.
Yeah.
But I definitely do think that sometimes people end up being their own worst enemies, because if you start acting up either with this girl or with your ex, all because you feel like, why would you like this? You are the one now who's going to be damaging the dynamic, or who's going to be just ruining things that there could have been a lot more, well, it just could have been better, like easier, and all because you are throwing a tantrum. Like, jealousy is such an unproductive feeling sometimes.
Yeah.
And as long as it doesn't get in the way of logic, where you can say like all those things you said first in the tweet, like she's great, this relationship is great, he's better. That should be good. If you're noticing that emotionally he's more mature, he's better in this dynamic, that means his kids potentially are also witnessing a healthier relationship with him and his girlfriend than they would have seen with you and him.
Yeah.
These are all healthy things.
Yeah, it's a benefit all the way around.
Focus on the positive. And I know it's difficult, and like, again, like, you had a very generous perspective of like your feelings are valid, and like, you know, you just have to work through them. But you really have to work through them, and don't be the reason that things get strange, all because you're feeling jealous of a man you're not with.
Exactly.
Like, you're not with this man.
Yeah.
And this girl also, it's not her fault that this man
is the way he is now. Yeah.
It's not her fault. Even if she's demanding particular things and he's choosing to do those things for her, that's him.
Yeah.
He's saying, oh, I want her this bad. She's not, doing all that. And if she gets along with your kids, like, that's so, and you get along with her as well.
Yeah.
Then, girl, get over that jealousy.
No, actually.
And if that jealousy also means that, go get yourself a relationship. If that makes you feel better, do what you have to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, get over it. I'm so strict with people who are co-parenting, honestly.
Fair.
I feel like it's one of those dynamics where it's very easy for folks to get caught up in their own feelings. And I'm always like, why aren't you prioritizing kids?
Yeah, in this.
Having the healthiest co-parenting dynamic. And sometimes the healthiest co-parenting dynamics does look like very firm boundaries. Maybe pick up and drop off is something that's also very like, here are the kids, here's what they need, I'll pick up at this time, no conversation.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can look like it has to be very regimented, very strict, very little emotion, and that can feel strange, but that's probably the healthiest thing in that dynamic. Sometimes, again, it's like getting along with the girlfriend, the kids, woo. But I really do think that often with co-parenting, people get caught up in their relationship feelings and not in the feelings of like,
the
how can
parenting
we have the
structure.
healthiest relationship for our children?
Yeah.
Instead of like, why are you still thinking about this man when he's moved on? Why is that a thing in your life?
Yeah.
You know? And that's just me. But like I said, I'm strict that way.
That's fair.
I'm strict that way because I think I've just seen it one too many times where, people just get caught up in, even like couples who are together, getting caught up in their shit, and to the point of just not even thinking, how is this impacting the kids? What are we setting for the children, showing them that this is a relationship, this is a dynamic that's normal? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And obviously plenty of people can come out of homes where relationships are not great and have their own troubled relationship or troubled ideologies or things about relationships because of that. And a lot of folks, that can also happen because of the co-parenting dynamics that they saw with their parents. So I really do think like focus on maintaining a healthy co-parenting relationship, and that often means keeping a healthy relationship with your ex and this new girlfriend.
Yeah.
And everything else you're feeling that's not super super nice, go work through it with a therapist. Because that has nothing to do with anybody else but you.
But you, exactly.
And don't let it be the thing that ruins a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sweet.
That's what I would say.
All right. Yeah, that was nice and to the point. Good luck with your dilemma. And sweet. Yeah, that wraps up the episode, really. Are you up for doing the outro for us?
Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
No, you can do it.
No, please. Are you up for it?
So, it's like new episodes drop on Fridays at 10 a.m. PST and 7
p.m., yeah.
South African time. You can find us on YouTube at Sound and Siren Podcast, and Instagram and TikTok, Sound and Siren Podcast. Yeah, send a DM if you have a dilemma that you want us to answer or something.
Come on.
It can be kept anonymous.
It can be kept anonymous, absolutely.
Or if you see a dilemma online, you can also send those through.
Yes, yes.
Sound on Siren Podcast, yeah.
Sweet. Remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please follow us, even on Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well. When you're listening, just click the follow. I think on Spotify we have like 42 followers, which is really cute. I'm not quite sure what the numbers from Apple are. I still don't know. I think it aggregates them, but anyways, doesn't matter. See you on the next episode. Bye.